Yeah, buddy. Yeah, buddy. Yeah, buddy. I think I got sound now. I think I got sound. So when you hear this, take two. This is one of the reasons I really dig doing these streams, because you never know what's gonna happen. I had to figure out what the heck just happened. So this was all a learning experience. All a learning experience. So take two, baby. So if you're here watching, for Tina and Paula, thank you for letting me know. And also, it's really interesting. These streaming things, there's a lot of tools, and so it's paying attention to a lot of different things. Let's get back to it. All right. So one of the things we're talking, not one thing we're talking about, the thing that we are talking about this morning in the Heal.Thy.Man Chronicles live is the roots of gluttony. What are we trying to feed? My name is Paul Newell. I am the host of this. I am also the author of Heal.Thy.Man Method and a facilitator, Man's Guide to Health and Well-Being in various aspects and realms of life. Here's how this topic came about. I recognized for myself, I had a keynote last week. I recognized, hey, Paula, bless up. Can you hear me now? Paula, can you hear me? Yes, buddy. Can you hear me now? Hold on one second. Now. Yes. Anyway, I love this stuff. This is great. So listen, so what happened was, right, this thing, I had this keynote last week, and leading up to the keynote, there's weeks of prep and practice. And while I have other things that I'm committed to, like this keynote was important. And I noticed the times that I'm supposed to practice, not even supposed to practice, but things to do to move myself forward. I found that I was consuming more than I needed to of something. In this case, it was sex. So when I noticed that, I was like, oh, junk, like, what is this right here? Then notice that I was consuming more because I was avoiding the uncertainty. Because listen, this whole keynote thing, this was moving into what I've wanted. And there was, like, doing the prep, it was forging some new patterns, some new things in my life. So when I started noticing this, I go down a rabbit hole. So once I notice something's happening for me, I'm like, yo, there could be something here. That's when I start putting it together into these presentations like I'm about to present to you today. So as I mentioned before, this greed and this gluttony more than anything we're talking about. This live is this is free of trying to shame anybody, right? This is more of curiosity and clarity around the reason we consume so damn much, whether it's food, sex, attention, information, power. We consume more than we need to, we consume more than we need to. Yes, I'm going to say it. So overconsumption, also something to think about. Overconsumption is not a weakness. I want us to also direct this energy and insight into overconsumption being misdirected nourishment. So first of all, let's define what the heck gluttony is. So gluttony is excessive consumption. Yet beyond that, gluttony is also it's more than eating. It's what is scrolling, it's spending, hoarding, binging, chasing that more. And I want you to think for a moment, is there a space in your life where you're over consuming to fill a void? Like, is that happening? Now, something to also think of is that gluttony can also mask unmet emotional and spiritual needs. So when I was thinking about that, or like when I was researching this and just like looking at the different ways to perceive gluttony, I was like, okay, this is beyond just food. Yet there are certain root causes to gluttony that I think are important for us to check into. So one of the root causes I mentioned before can mask emotional needs is the emotional starvation. So gluttony can mask a lack of nourishment, whether that's love, safety, acknowledgement. Like I could consume more than I need to because I'm missing something. So we consume when we don't know how to feel. Now remember I was telling you about my experience with like the overconsumption of sex. It became really I was there was uncertainty. So in my case, I didn't know how to feel about it. So instead I went to something familiar. Now, another root cause to gluttony is spiritual disconnection. So, when a person feels disconnected from purpose, source, or soul, there can be a chase to pleasure as a substitute to presence, right? So, and I know that's for me, like rather than being present and really settle into it, there's times and spaces where I'm like, damn, I'm going to do something else. So I mean, like, yes, I'm using sex as the example, but I mean, like, it was also some alcohol. I was consuming a little bit more alcohol than I usually consume during that time period. So again, I'm looking at it as consumption, overconsumption. Now, another root cause to gluttony. And listen, if you have any questions as you're watching this, first of all, thank you for watching. Any questions, please put in the comments. I'll get to them when we're going through. But one of the other root causes is unprocessed trauma or stress. Now, along with this, while I was getting prepped and ready, there was some stuff that was going on in my close network that was that created a strain on me for real. So I was like, dang, man, my nervous system was stuck in survival mode. And it's crazy because my it's wild. My speech last week, my keynote speech was called Survival to Sovereignty. And I was talking about how I can get stuck, how people in that mental health space, people can get stuck. Yeah, brother Samuel, what's up, bro? People can get stuck in survival, and then they can binge. I didn't talk about this part, but in relation to gluttony, they can binge as a way to regulate themselves. And then overeating, overspending, overindulging, that's a soothing dysregulation. And we want to have a space where we learn to dysregulate. So that's what I'm saying. There can be judgment around overconsumption or gluttony. And really it's misdirected nourishment. Like, okay, we're trying to feed something, but again, what are we looking to feed? Now, another root cause of this is societal conditioning. So this is more is better, man. What we got bigger trucks, bigger this, everything's bigger in America, right? And also, when we look at this from a men's perspective, masculinity can be framed as dominating, possessing, consuming. You know, we talk about the patriarchy, all the talk tracks around that. So there's a conditioning especially for men, to have more, like more, more, more. The thing is, it's beyond the gender at this point. This is going like this is big for everyone, man. Like, so something to think about. And if you're not taking more, you're falling behind. That's one of the things I was researching. I was like, oh, junk, that's an interesting concept. And at the same time, that's something that can live in people. So now, what are the things that gluttony costs us? What does it really cost? Well, physical drain. There's fatigue. This can lead to addiction, chasing that high. Mental fog, overstimulated, right? How's that happen? Because when we consume, it's like when you take in more food than you need to. What happens? You're like, oh my God, I can't move. Then you start falling asleep, man, head nodding, start snoring and junk, sleep apnea. So there's that can happen. Now, also it can bring about anxiety, distraction. You're consuming, or you're over consuming content, media. That's going to distract you, and also again overstimulate you. Now, also it brings about spiritual dullness, because when I'm over consuming, it's free of having any space to get clarity, to even know when you're stuffed. This is one of the things, like, especially I know when I was heavy, I was like up to like two. It was like, I was in between 240, 250. And one of the ways for me to start losing weight was I ate slower, and I ate everything for a period with a knife and a fork, like on some George Costanza stuff. And I noticed like I got full quick. Like I constantly had to bring half of my meal home because I was so full. And I recognized how fast I was eating and also the amount that I was consuming. I was consuming way more than my body needed. So this is where the spirituality, the spirit dullness can come in, because if I'm taking in things that stimulate me, there's no time for me to be clear about any of my stuff. So okay, so now we went into what it costs, like what it is. Now like how I like to do. I'm going to show you what the problem is, or I'm show you what the potential issue or challenge is, and then we're going to flip it and see, okay, where are the ways that we can disconnect, or we can reverse, or go or do something different. So I came up with me and my buddy Chat came up with some ways that we think is going to be good to help you reclaim like a discipline and balance. So here's what we got. Right, first is awareness and pause. This is big because, well, all these are big. This is I think one of the first key, and this is why I wanted to put this first, is because when you're in the overconsumption, take the ability to become aware of it first of all, and to take the pause to notice, okay, what's happening in your life. Okay, what's going on in this moment that has me wanting to soothe or comfort or avoid or overstimulate or any of those things that I mentioned before, and what it costs. What do I really need in this moment? Hey, is it a hug? It could be something different than a Heineken or a joint or some piece of goody goods, whatever it is. What do you really need in the moment? Another one is fasting, and this is in all forms. Like, so this could be like, one of the things I'm recognizing is like, yo, look, I'll be directly, I'm a fast food junkie, man, especially when I'm going through stress. And fast food is real easy for me because as a drive-through, I'll be, I have an app. I'll be like, beep, 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 put it in, go pick it up, pshon, nobody knows nothing. So for me, I recognize, like, as I'm clearing out my body now, it's time for me to fast. And the fast is more than, again, food. It's really like being able to be present and notice your I'm going to speak for myself. Notice my cravings, what I'm really hungry for. So this is where fasting comes in good. And it could be screen time. It could be sex. It could be stimulation. And fasting builds clarity, and it gives you the ability to learn to trust yourself, which is key, because you could trust yourself to be without something for a certain period of time. There's a confidence also with that starts to build within you. Another piece here that can help you reclaim that balance and discipline is to create rituals of nourishment. So start to replace those compulsive habits with conscious ones. So when you know that, like, I know one thing for me when I'm noticing, hey man, I want to go to Wendy's right now. Like for me, it's to do a sun salutation. Like, listen, let me just move my body, and see what's really going on. Maybe something stuck that needs to get like moved around a little bit to be free. So, and this is one of the things, like, that's why I use movement. Some people could use prayer. Some people could journal. Some people could simply breathe. Whatever it is, there's always a way for you to tap in. So another one that you got is make room for stillness. Like gluttony is one of those things. It's one of those 7 sins. Like, it's going to fill the space where stillness can really heal your ass. So like really take that time to really be still for a moment. Just be with it. I think that's one of the key things that's tough for a lot of people to do, is to be with something. Just be with it, man. Like, rather than like, it's got to be more. It's got to be more than this. No, it could be this, and this is all that's needed. And this fills up all the damn spaces, all the spaces. So make room for stillness. And then another one here that's always always on time is reconnect to your purpose. So this is one of the things, like, even on the More Than Black and White Health podcast, Brian talks about this all the time. He's like, yo, listen, what you want to do is, if you're struggling, you got depression, and you have anxiety, your goals aren't big enough. So check in with the purpose. What's going on? Bless up to everybody joining. Thank you. Take care. I appreciate you. So listen, that's what we want to start to look at. A person and a man with clear direction is less likely to be aimless in consumption. When you have intention with where you're going with your ish, man, then things become very clear, and the path becomes lit. So here's what we got. Like, as we start to wrap up here, because I'm coming up on, I'm getting up. Yeah, I'm up on my time. But as we start to look at this here, I want you to think about this. Gluttony is the body or the ego begging to be filled. And really, it's the spirit that's asking to be felt. Okay. I put this up here because I think it's important. Read this. Think about this. When you think you want to overconsume and you think you want to satisfy it, hold up, pause for a moment. Something else is coming up. Something else is there to really check in on. So healing gluttony requires presence. It requires purpose, and it requires a level of patience. So take time with yourself and start to look at those places I mentioned before. Where are those places where you overconsume? It's free of judgment. It's more about clarity and curiosity. And then, like, when you look, okay, damn, I'm overconsuming there. Like, now think of, what is it that you really need? What are you really hungry for, man? What is it? All right, check in with that. Bless up to you. Hey, listen, and check this out. I got this program Blueprints coming up, cohorts coming up in June. Stay on the lookout for that, because that's going to be coming up. I'm going to be sharing that. It's an 8-week cohort, learning about the archetypes, how they live in you, and how they communicate, how they're communicating within you. So bless up to you, bless up to you, bless up to you. And always, listen, I told you the book is out there, baby.